We haven't made a fun video for a long time, so we thought, let's bust out the race trucks and go to Las Vegas Motor Speedway and do some drag racing.
So we brought all three of our drag race trucks here and we broke everything. All right guys, it is time for an actual cool video, not just a podcast. It's been a long time since we've done a video. Why? Because we've been moving into this huge, awesome shop and it's taken us a long time to get set up. But now, Myers race truck is here, my race truck is here, Will's race truck is here, and we have room to work on them and actually not trip over ourselves. So it's very, very exciting. This thing has been in storage all winter long. I haven't done anything to it. I went and raced it in Montana last fall and that's it. So it's got one race under its belt. So the truck's pretty much ready to go. I'm gonna do a few small changes. So far in this off season, the only thing I did is I went from a 13mm pump to a 14mm pump. So this is a bigger pump, more fuel, and I upsized the injectors. Today, I'm just gonna verify timing, and I wanna see on the dyno, did we pick up power? So I'll compare my last dyno runs compared to today, see if this 14mm pump and these bigger injectors picked up any power, and this thing's ready to go.
So this is my race truck, Scrat. Unlike Todd, who's trying to go faster, I actually installed a lot of, I got a Haltech, so I got a lot of data acquisition here. We got some new stuff in the trans. We got all sorts of stuff. I don't envision going any faster than I already have, but my goal here is to go to the drag strip, make sure everything works, and be able to pick up all sorts of data from the trans so we can keep pushing that forward.
I present to you the most unreliable 12-valve Cummins on planet Earth. Guys, I took the most reliable engine platform of 12-valve Cummins and I put it in this race truck we call Uncle Rico, and I've been through 5 engines in the last 2 race seasons. This truck has only finished 1 race. I've taken it to 3 and it's broken at every single race. So I've been fighting, trying to push the limits of the factory engine block. So for this time around, I sleeved the block down. I'm running smaller than stock size forged pistons to see if I can make this 12-valve Cummins survive at 1,500 horsepower. So I've got the engine back together. We're in the new race shop. All I need to do is dyno it. The last engine didn't even make it off the dyno. Hopefully this one is lucky number 5, or it might even be 6, I'm not sure.
All right, I had to run a quick errand, and while I was gone, Myer gave me a list of things he thinks I should do to my truck. So the steering shaft is loose. Okay, I gotta fix that. That's a big deal. Steering shouldn't come off when you're racing. It's a big deal. The axle's off center. Nitrous controller. When I went to Montana, I was running 550s, 540s, and my nitrous controller is old from, I mean, it was like 2010 old nitrous controller, super old nitrous controller. So it didn't work. And so I was not having nitrous at all. A new nitrous controller, so I can actually use nitrous in the race, and that should be awesome. And my radiator support broke right here. So I need to fix this guy. Okay, so that's a weld. And then he didn't put in here, but I gotta verify timing. That's the whole reason I'm here. Verify timing. Yeah, we're gonna do some suspension adjustments as well. So we'll go over that in a bit, because when I was in Montana, you'll see the video, it would bite the tire so hard, it would dead hook, and then bounce. Actually, I think it might even come off the ground, and come back down and go again. So we're having too much bite in the tire. We're gonna adjust the bar so maybe it has a little more spin and smooth launch rather than this crazy bite and bounce that I've been doing. So we're gonna adjust the bars a little bit as well. That's my list. I'm ready to go test and tune. It'll be awesome.
This is the mark on this side, and then the other mark on the other side is like right here.
We just need to scooch the axle over a little bit. Scoochy, scoochy.
Which really just means the lock nuts on the track bar are loose, and that's the more concerning part.
But we need to rotate the track bar, so we gotta get like under there.
Yeah. So anything you do there is going to double. I think you might just put the bar back to where the lock nuts are, and it might be about perfect, ironically enough. As in...
Can you just rotate my hand, or
yes.
is that loose?
That's what I was doing earlier. So really what would be nice is if you lifted up the frame, not the axle.
Clear?
Yeah. Whoa. If your bump stop's not on your side, it's not on my side. I might have been wrong.
It's not on my side.
Oh, then this doesn't do anything then? Oh, channel locks is going to fix it.
So you're gonna go now that your axle is straight under the truck?
It's gonna make all the difference in the world.
It might drive worse.
Yeah, because it drove really good before. But maybe it was this way before and it just over time.
This is very scientific.
Yeah.
It's better than whatever it was before.
Yeah, like how much you picked up. So you went from here, that's gotta be 3/4 of an inch. You went over.
Yeah. Also, it looks like you need to rotate your tires.
Yeah. The front axle was shifted too far to the left, so we're kind of shifting it back center of the truck.
So we're about 3.5, 3 5/8.
Pretty much that.
Let's just call it good. That's way better than it was.
All right, guys, I got a really short list for Uncle Rico. I have to survive my dyno test so that I can actually make it to the race. What is new about Uncle Rico? We've added a trans brake and a launch control mechanism so that I can flat foot the throttle. It will stage at a tunable RPM and boost level, and I can let off the button. It will dump the trans brake, dump the line lock, and go full throttle all at once while I'm still full throttle, which means Todd and Myer have no chance of beating me if we actually line up. All right, so I decided I need to lose weight to make my truck more reliable, because if the vehicle's lighter weight, it doesn't take as much horsepower to run that 590 eighth mile index I want to run.
So the real reason Will's over here swapping windshields is because he's afraid of getting gapped by a common rail. Again.
That's why I bought you lunch today, so you can put on 5 pounds and I can lose 5 pounds.
That's 10 pounds.
It's a 10-pound advantage.
Dude.
Dude, that's hard. How people do this for a living. Oh, please. So Harbor Freight's finest lasted about 1/4 of one windshield. Yeah, not even quite 1/4. So that sucks. I think I'm gonna get a Sawzall. Think I could kick this out? Oh, it lifts now. Oh. Yeah, we broke it. That'll work for freaking 20 pounds. Do we need more stroke? Smoke.
Scott, that'd be helping the rubber.
So I'm trying to make a little pointer so I can verify top dead center of the #1 piston. This is the dial indicator. This is connected to a nice long Allen wrench that's sitting on top of the piston. I'm going to rotate the engine back and forth so I can see, you know, before and after top dead center, and I'll put the mark right in the middle, and then I'll know where top dead center is. So that's what I'm doing now. Once I know top dead center, I can then time the pump to top dead center, and I'll have good timing, which we're close now, but the way it was acting last time I drove it, I feel like I had it a little bit off. So I just want to make sure it's perfect before I start throwing big power at it. Or I need somebody to watch the dial while I bar this.
Oh my god. Okay,
Are
you trying to do 100 up, 100 one side?
Yes, and then we'll split the difference. So
Wheelchair's good at looking.
So I get to tell me which way to go, and then we'll mark the dampener. We need a paint pen or something so we can get both sides.
You got a marker. You do not have a
Marker's probably fine too because it's just be temporary.
Yeah.
Just about 100.
Well, went up, now it's coming back down.
Nothing I own has a single turbo.
We'll still go back to 0, so it'll be 60 past, which is, I usually only go 50 each way. Okay, you got like 3 degrees left. 2, 1,000. Oop, right there. As the piston's coming out, it's gonna get up to 60, and then when it goes back down to 0, I'm gonna mark again. Halfway between is top dead center. Oh, let's go like 64. Keep going. You're right at TDC now. Okay, you got 10 thousandths left. 5. Oh, it's up. Right there. Okay, so the marks are at 20 before and 2 after. So half of 22 would be 11.
You're 11 degrees?
Yep.
Okay, here I go. I'm going to stop.
Oh, wait, but 20, but it's 2 past, so actually we need to go to 9.
Yes,
because it's 2 past.
Yep.
Yep, so right there's 15. Keep going.
Going.
If there's 11, keep going. You're going to 9, 10. Just a smidge more. Right there.
Right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're at top dead center. So now what I'm going to do, the engine's at top dead center. I'm going to put the pump at top dead center. Well, the pump is 0 degrees is how I time these pumps. So when I put this pump at 0 degrees, which is how I built the pump, or how Myer built the pump, let's be honest, but I did watch closely. So how Myer built the pump under close supervision, once that's at 0, then I can just back the engine off 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever degrees I want, and that's my injection timing. So it's very simple. I'm just going to 0 out the pump, back the engine up how many degrees I want to advance timing, and this thing's ready to rock and roll. That means it'll be 40 degrees of timing advance. All right, so for those who don't know, this is our adjustable timing gear, and we made this because years ago I kept having issues with slip timing. So what I've done here, you see this little white head on this bolt here? It's like my master bolt, so I can simply loosen it and I could retard the engine until this bolt bottoms out in the slot. Then I know I've got it set to 33 degrees. I just figured that out a few minutes ago, that when that bolt is bottomed out, my engine's at 33 degrees. So I can bottom it out. Let's say, hey, I want to try 45 degrees. I'll just bottom it out, add on 12 degrees, and I'm at 45 degrees. So this makes it super, super fast to just change your timing, mess around the dyno, races, whatever. And we've had a lot of good luck with it, and it's a very simple system. Works very, very well. "40 degrees. Let's see how she does.
So now Todd's old ancient, like probably Rev 1 Nitrous Express controller, his Rev 1, died. So we're putting in a new Max 6, and they sent a little instructional card on how to wire this thing, so I scanned it.
Dual stage wiring with trans brake and second stage on button. Why would you want that?
I feel like I'm overthinking this. We're just gonna wire it up probably the same way it is currently. We have yellow.
Solid yellow?
Yeah, looks like it. For a boost input. Then we have the sensor, ground is black. We got the old Nitrous controller out, the NXD 5000. Don't know how old that is, pretty decrepit. And we've got the Max 6 installed. It's working. Now we just have to write tune. So ultimately, 3 things you need to know, very simple. So first thing is your configuration. That's your different inputs for your sensor or whatnot. What you need to see is just TPS. It's enable, disable on TPS, and that's a master. So basically,
That's a full throttle switch?
So I envision your spooled kit will be armed all the time. Full throttle, no throttle.
I may actually have it be full throttle.
I think unless you have like a 1 PSI boost or 2 PSI boost threshold, but you don't want to have to make that.
No, I want to have it, exactly, I want it to turn on at 0 boost. So maybe I'll just have to spool up on the second part of the stage. Once I get spooling up, I can come off. Then I'll lose my nitrous, but I can still bump in on that too. You know what I mean?
Another thing, so right now the full throttle switch, you could move it so it gets hit at like quarter throttle, but that seems counterintuitive. It defeats the purpose of the full throttle switch.
It's okay to put on the full throttle switch. I think I can work around that because, I mean, that's how I'm going to spool up anyways. We're going to program it.
You floor it.
So then I'll just program the spool up jet with that. And as it comes up, I'll just let it off full throttle until I get into that 2-step that I bump in. Just I bump it, I'm flooring it again, so it's going to come on.
Yeah.
All right, so Myer has finished wiring in the Maximizer 6 from Nitrous Express onto my truck here, which is awesome. This is a much more modern version of the one I used to have on here. And I'm looking at the software, trying to figure out how to program this thing. I do have more options here, more sensors I can make programming demands off of certain things that happen. So I just got to figure out what I want to do. I have a trans brake and I can use that to do some stuff. I have a throttle position sensor, a boost sensor. Those are pretty much the only 3 things I'm going to be using to program this system. So basically I want it to, when I'm on the trans brake, it does one thing. When I let off, it does another thing. And I'm going to use the TPS to help me spool it up at the line real fast. So I don't need a ton of stuff, honestly, and this should make it really easy for me to stage my truck. My biggest problem with this truck so far has been staging at the starting line, getting it spooled up. Too much nitrous, not enough nitrous. And I think it's going to make it really easy so I can just spool up fast, bump in, and hopefully be lethal at the tree. So when I get it figured out, it's going to be awesome.
I'm just changing the valve cover because we put a crankcase sensor on the dyno. So this is my dyno valve cover of the special. It's how we tell when the engine's blown up. If it has like more than about, 8 PSI on this setup, then I know it's really hurt. If it has less than 8, I'm happy. the exhaust back pressure sensor. There's a little coil so it cools off the exhaust so it doesn't burn the poly line. But we just like to measure back pressure versus boost pressure to kind of give us an idea of what the turbos are doing. And if we magically make more power than we're expecting, you know, then we, yeah, I want that data. If it sucks, I'm going to look at the data really close and be like, all right, why does this suck?
Slow? Never. I would never expect that from you, Will.
You're at the windshield halfway cut out. See the cutout hanger things hanging in the glass there. Myer got across the roof for me. See the little wire?
Oh, yeah? Nice.
So this thing's one good engine explosion from ejected the windshield. Save me some work. I've got Uncle Rico ready. It's all strapped down. It's all sensored up. So I've got boost, drive, exhaust back pressure, lambda, so I can see what the air fuel ratio is. Last time I was on the dyno, it made 1,425 horsepower. I then screwed up, put way too much timing in it, like 62 degrees, burned a hole through the piston, ruined the engine, didn't even make it to the racetrack. So I've fixed that engine, new sleeves, smaller pistons. So I'm really curious, is it gonna make more or less power with fewer cubic inches? We are smaller bore size than a stock 12-valve Cummins, but it's a stroker, so it's a stroker 5.9 Cummins. No one's ever done it that I'm aware of, so let's see what it does on the dyno.
What?
1440, new record?
What? That's good.
Oh, wow.
Who needs cubes?
Oh.
Turns out there is a replacement for displacement. Cylinder wall stiffness.
The other theory I've been playing with, this has a small valve head on it.
Yeah.
After the big valve head and they're blown open.
Oh.
And so this is letting it RPM a little better. I don't know. That's usually where I make peak RPM though, peak power.
1440, bro. That's like 12 mil
So-
pump. That's just a little 12 mil pump.
Solid. That's the best number I've made on the dyno, fuel only.
That's awesome.
12 millimeter injection pump too, that's gotta be close to the record. See what the wideband is?
89, should be a little lean. 93.
All right.
You go 2.6?
We could put it on the higher tune and do another fuel only, or I should probably check on the head gasket.
You're on the leanish side. 0.8 is kind of 85, so you're like to meter 93 at peak power.
Agreed.
Just keep proving us wrong.
His truck makes about 400 more horsepower than mine, so I don't really have a leg to stand on.
He also has a lot more fuel.
I have 14 mil.
Yeah, you have a 12.
Yeah.
I have a 14 mil. He has a 14 mil. You have a 12.
I think I'm gonna grab. So I'm just checking this at 150 foot-pounds, 150 to see if they move. Then I got to pull it apart and do a retorque before we put more power through it. They feel really good, honestly. I can get another one somewhere. It's probably fine. They didn't move at 150, so, and it's warm. I think we'll run it again.
This shows 120. The nitrous controller says 120. Yep, ready. You ultimately have the most superior compounds ever. Good job.
They keep telling me I need bigger turbos. The data doesn't agree, Myer.
Just keep proving us wrong.
His truck makes about 400 more horsepower than mine, so I don't really have a leg to stand on.
He also has a lot more fuel.
I have 14 mil.
Yeah, you have a 12.
Yeah.
I have a 14 mil. He has a 14 mil. You have a 12.
I think I'm going to grab a kit of Nitrous at 35 just for a bit and see what it does. Because
Okay. You can only do so much. It's at like 720.
we got to get the show on the road. I'm ready to hit
Go!
one and done.
Like when the smoke starts going, I will stop.
You'll go start the dyno?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. I hit it right around 3,500. That's when I came on that spray.
And lambda lie. It says you're lying. Actually, lambda doesn't show much of anything, so never mind.
We got low bottle pressure.
Yeah, you had like 720.
And I just hit the one button, so I think it had, I didn't even check. That's the only jet I've ever put in there. It's got a 136 jet.
Yeah,
They really
so
do
that
much.
little bump right there just carried for some reason, and then that boost went up right here. So I don't know what that is right there.
EGT was 200 degrees higher peak this run than the last one.
I wonder if that's your gate adjustment. It was carrying way better. Like, look at your drive, way down.
Wait till you see his truck. Okay, so you gotta go get your trucks.
This round may be getting the updated software to test with, and not you because you're so custom. His is like plain Jane. And so if it works for him,
As far as we can go, I can put it on 2 and 3. It'll feel and do its thing.
yeah, the only question is pre-boost. Make sure you have about the right amount of pre-boost. If it's too much, I can make changes down. If it's too little, I can make changes up. Full throttle is all set. It should be good.
All right, the Cummins Cart is on the dyno. Last time, it made 1,566 horsepower. That was with a 13 mil pump. Now, we've got a 14 mil pump. So I'm hoping that quicker injection rate will pick up some power. It's loaded. Let's go find out.
Did you get up to 4,800 or 3,300?
48.
48. Yeah.
No overdrive?
No overdrive.
It was coming off. And I thought it was to go on.
I don't know. Maybe. Like once you're in lockup and overdrive, the valve bike can't come back out. So we've had some issues with this harness before, mostly with the trans brake side of this. This is the one that's going into the transmission itself. And well, now we're having overdrive problems. So we're kind of hoping that the problem is in this harness, which we had to replace anyway. So we're just going to make a new one really quick. Dude, I'm struggling here. We just barely got heat in here last week. Okay, there we go. We are good to go.
We have a transmission issue, and we think it might be the pigtail. So Myer just made a quick pigtail. You probably saw that. We got hooked up. It's probing out pretty good on the multimeter. So hopefully this solves our problems. We can actually get a pass. As of now, we've had no passes because we're having transmission issues. So it's on the dyno. Let's see if she does.
So as the transmission builder, I'm going to take offense to that. It's not transmission problems, it's harness problems. I did not do the harness. I built the trans. So you got to label it for what it is.
Spike the highest.
Well, it held that power.
Very flat.
27.
Got fatter as it went up. Interesting. So the engine loses efficiency. So you're gonna pull a little bit of fuel out of it and see if it picks up more power.
Fix tune 2.
Yeah, we're gonna go to was maybe 100 cc's less, maybe. Give or take.
How many cc's do you think that was? 600-ish? 700-ish?
I don't know.
We don't really know.
There's
We
a
had
I
it
big-
mean, mine was like 700-ish.
So tune 3 is 76%. This is going to be 69%.
Yeah, let's try that. Yeah.
Sounds perfect.
Myers' favorite number.
Because Bill's 9.
No, Mike. Hey.
So we started out the day wiring. Then Will got me some lunch, and then we started wiring. Then we started wiring something else, and then we dynoed. Then we did some wiring. Then we dynoed again, and we did more wiring. And now we're here. So that's basically my day. I did check off the first thing on my list: fix Todd's truck. So feeling really, really successful.
Okay, It is now Wednesday night. I have Dyno on my truck. It's in great working condition, made about 100 more horsepower than last time, fuel only, so I'm excited about that.
So I took the most unreliable race truck of the fleet and the most unreliable engine and turned it into more reliable because it didn't blow up yet. And it made 25 more horsepower. So 25 more horsepower, took a nitrous hit, a weak one, and it didn't blow up, no leaks. I'm happy.
Yeah, that's gonna run good. I'm excited to see that thing go down the strip on Friday. So today's Wednesday night. Thursday, we're gonna do a few little things. Meyer's gotta do everything because he just worked on my truck all day, so thanks to that, Meyer. He's gonna get his ready to go. And
I gotta swap out my windshield.
oh,
Shoot.
okay, so we're here in Las Vegas. We actually made it to the test and tune 2 weeks before the main event in Phoenix. Just got the tires on, air pressure set. I'm kind of nervous. I'm always nervous the first time for the first pass of the day. I was very excited. We're here testing. Gets a bunch of really cool cars. Gonna make me look bad, but anyway, it's pretty cool. I'm excited. Let's go make some passes.
We made it. Now, a little bit of a last minute hiccup here. Went to go fill the radiator with water and it has a leak. So we're running it dry. No coolant, no water, but it'll be fine. Let it cool off between passes. It's always a little nervous getting in there and just like firing it up again, but it did a quick test spool, quick test hit, doing the bump box, bumping it forward. It feels natural, it feels like home. It's gonna feel good. It's gonna be great.
So for guys that don't know, in diesel racing, they've shortened the track down to 1/8 mile for safety reasons and explosion reasons. A lot of trucks are oiling down and braking on the track. So they make us run 1/8 mile. So I try to run at a 590 index class. That means I'm trying to run 5.9 in the 1/8 mile. It's about like a 980 quarter mile. And I've never ran a 590. My best is a 618. So I'm trying to race at regular diesel events running 590, and I can't even do that. So my goal today is to run 590. Will it happen? It's never happened yet. I've never been in the fives. So this is a quarter mile track, so if it feels good, I might stay in it the whole quarter mile just to see what kind of, because I've never gotten a 9-second quarter mile either. So it could be good. All right, guys, so my first pass off the trailer, my first 9-second quarter mile ever. Totally awesome. And it wasn't a 999, it was a 970 at 144. Best 60 foot ever, 149. 113 in the 8th, so it wasn't big power. I was a little late on my shifting, but when I short shift my engine, it blows up. So I was trying to like be late, and it laid over in 3rd before I grabbed overdrive. So I waited way too long, but very happy. Left really good. We can only go up from here, right? Check it out. So 149 60 foot, 628 in the 8th. That's a 10th slower than my normal good runs. Mile per hour is down a little, 113. Usually I'm about 114, 115. And first time I ran a quarter, 970, 144. So making some power. I did the peak recall on my gauges, 125 pounds of boost, 1800 EGT, pretty high. But I don't see any leaks under the truck, which is a huge win. So on to the next test hit.
all right, just got back to my first pass and it was a bust. I got sideways up the line, burned off 4 tires real fast. Anyway, I'm gonna drop air pressure, hoping to get more traction. I'm also going to soften the nitrous hit off the line. See if I can get this thing to hook off the line and go. I think if I can get to hook, it'll make a good pass. So I'll make a quick tuning change and we're back at it.
right, guys, we got back from the second pass. It left better because I sprayed my spool jet of nitrous at the beginning, 1, 2, 3. Midway through third gear, it just started laying over like it lost power. So I came back and I was looking around and I noticed my lift pump belt was missing. Wasn't even on the lift pump anymore. So there was an oil down and I asked them if I could go check for a belt on the track, and sure enough, I found my belt, but no dice, it was broken. So I don't have a spare belt, so that ends my trip. However, the numbers on the time slip were looking really good. It was about the same 60 foot, it was like a 148, but I was almost 2/10 quicker to the 330. So I think I would have been on track for like a high 5-second pass. All in all, good. The engine's healthy. It drove itself back. It's going to load itself on the trailer. And yes, a P pump can start itself with no lift pump. It's able to draw right through that stationary pump and still start and run. Just doesn't make very much power.
All right, so second pass, again, not very good. I dropped pressure, I modified the nitrous program, and I was excited for an awesome rip. Pulled up the line, and I was turning my wheel, and all of a sudden I lost power steering, just popped, like a big pop, I felt it. And I lost my brakes, I'm like, what the heck? Guy comes running up, hey, cut it, kill it, kill it. So I'm like, oh man. I pop out and there's red ATF all over under my truck. They thought I blew a transmission, but what happened was I blew the steering rack. That pressure when I was turning the wheel when I was going slow was too much for the rack and it blew out a seal. My hydraulic pump pumped all the fluid off the track, which is just ATF, hydraulic fluid. So they had to tow me back to my trailer. Luckily, all my mess was right there at the starting line, so it's a pretty quick cleanup. It wasn't like I ruined the whole entire track, so that was nice. But so yeah, I never got my second pass. So today, Will officially spanked me. He ran a 970 to my 28-second pass when I spun off the line. So anyway, gotta get a new steering rack and this thing will be back. So not like catastrophic failure, just gotta put some better parts on it.
Dang. Today's not a good day for racing, huh?
Obviously our plan of A to B did not go as planned. I mean, we threw a soft launch in there. We threw like tune 2, 1200 horse at it. Like I really thought it was just gonna be a clean A to B pass. Obviously that didn't work out. We went on the staging light, revved it up. It's supposed to level off around 3,000 and it kind of sounded about right. I never look at the tach, but I let off the button and it was actually at 4,000 RPM, and which isn't extremely high. I mean, that's where Todd's launching, but because it's such a low stall converter, that was a lot of power and it just zinged it and destroyed the transfer case. So look, I mean, it is a DHD, it's a DLD in there. We're gonna throw a DHD in it. Ultimately, somewhere in that Haltech install, I fat fingered something, but we'll get it together and we'll make it better.
We spent a lot of time prepping these trucks, getting them ready, dynoing them, all kinds of fun stuff to get here. It's been a long week.
Who went the fastest?